Is your LG front load washer making a racket and banging around like it's trying to escape the laundry room? I'm William with appliancepartspros.com, and today we're diving into how to restore the peace in your laundry routine by getting that washer back in balance. We'll explore potential culprits like the spider shaft, counterbalance weight, shock absorber, and suspension springs, breaking it down in a way that's easier than you might think. Even if you're new to appliance repairs, I've got you covered. Let's get started and bring some harmony back to your washing machine. With over 2 million products in stock and the know-how to help you do it yourself, we are appliancepartspros.com. For today's work, we'll need a Phillips screwdriver and a Flathead screwdriver. Also, please remember that safety comes first. Always disconnect your front load washer by unplugging it or switching the breaker off. With the power disconnected, we're ready to dive in and start troubleshooting. We're opening the door and grabbing the spin basket. We're attempting to wiggle it around while observing the spacing between the spin basket and the outer tub. If the spacing changes, the spider shaft has failed and would need to be replaced. It is possible for a broken spider shaft to cause damage to the tub bearings. If the spacing does not change, we will need to continue troubleshooting. We're grabbing our Phillips screwdriver and removing the 2 mounting screws securing the top panel to the washer, located at the back corners. We're sliding the top panel to the rear of the washer, lifting it up, and then setting it to the side. If there's water in your front load washer, it can usually be drained using a drain tube commonly found behind the drain filter access panel. We're removing the dispenser drawer, setting it to the side, then removing the Phillips screws located behind the drawer. We're also removing one Phillips screw located at the top right-hand corner of the back of the display panel. With the screws removed, we're disconnecting the user interface harness wires, rotating the console forward while lifting, and setting the console to the side. We're opening the door and removing the 2 screws securing the door lock to the front panel. We're removing the door gasket spring with our flathead screwdriver and folding the gasket back. We're also opening the drain pump cover and removing the Phillips screws. The cover can be moved to the side. We're disconnecting the drain tube from the mounting bracket and pushing it into the panel. The drain cover can be moved to the side. After removing the drain pump cover, we're going to locate the Phillips screw located just behind and remove that as well. Now we're moving to the top of the front panel and removing the Phillips screws. We're rotating the front panel forward slightly, lifting up and setting it to the side. We're inspecting the counterbalance weights for any damage or loose bolts that may allow the tub to get off balance. If there is a loose bolt, it can be tightened. If there is a damaged counterbalance weight, it will need to be replaced. If the counterbalance weights are okay, we will need to continue troubleshooting. We're inspecting the shock absorbers of the washer next. We're removing the back access panel of the washer. We're checking for any damage and if the compression is off. The bushings on a shock absorber are the most common spot to find damage as they wear down, and it affects compression. If there's no visible damage on the absorber bushings, we will press the suspension rods, creating the compression. If one compresses a lot easier than the rest, it has failed. If the shock absorber shaft separates from the piston chamber, the shock absorber will need to be replaced. If they all have the same compression, we will need to continue troubleshooting. If everything up to this point checked out good, then the suspension springs are a likely cause of failure. This is a part that, unless there's a very obvious indication of failure like a complete break, is identified through the process of elimination. Since we found a shock absorber had failed, let me show you how to replace it. It is easiest to remove them and get the new one in one at a time. The same process will be used for all of the shock absorbers. We're using our flathead screwdriver to press into the locking tabs of the hinge pin and pulling the pin out of the tub. We're doing the same for the pin at the base. The shock absorber can now be pulled out of the washer. Replacing all of the shock absorbers at the same time is the optimal repair that can be done. Here's the old shock absorber and here's the new one. If you've already got one, great. If not, you can pick one up at appliancepartspros.com. We're inserting the shock absorber onto the frame and securing it with the pin. We're securing it to the tub with the other pin. Reinstall the rear access panel. Reattach the front panel by placing it on the bottom brackets and feeding the drain hose through. Secure the panel with the screws. We're reinstalling the door lock and securing it with the Phillips screws that we removed earlier. Then we're going to refit the door gasket and spring. Then reinstall the drain pump cover. Reinstall the console and reconnect the user interface harness. Secure the console with the screws that we removed earlier. Slide the dispenser drawer back in and finally install the top panel and secure it with the rear screws. Don't forget to plug your power cord back in, and with that, we are done. Thanks for joining us today. If your LG front-load washer has been making more noise than a marching band, we hope this troubleshooting guide helped you pinpoint the issue, whether it was the spider shaft, the counterbalance weight, shock absorber, or suspension springs. Once you've determined the faulty part, take your model number and visit appliancepartspros.com to order a replacement. Most orders arrive within just a couple of days, so you'll have your washer running smoothly again in no time. When you complete your repair, we'd love to hear how it went. Feel free to leave a comment below sharing your experience. Remember, we're here to help you make your do-it-yourself appliance repairs as easy and efficient as possible.